This is the plaintiff, Marco Albanese. He says he and the defendant have been friends for 40 years. And for some reason, the guy refuses to return a very expensive textbook he loaned him and won't return the money he gave him for gas and tobacco either. He was trying to help an old friend out, and this is the thanks he gets. Since he doesn't want to get into a fist fight with the defendant over this, he's decided to handle things the proper way and is suing him for the $447 he's owed. This is the defendant, Matthew Iacobino. As far as the textbook goes, he says the plaintiff's welcome to search his house for it any time. In addition, the guy never loaned him money for tobacco and has some nerve dragging him into court today for these bogus charges. He's the one who's in fact owed money and plans to prove it here today. He's accused of taking advantage of a friend. The defendant filed a countersuit for $270 for fixing a printer and auto supplies.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
Marco Albanese.
Yes.
You are suing your former friend, Matthew Iacobino. Sorry? Hello?
Yes.
Why won't you look me in the eye?
I apologize, Your Honor.
Okay. For $447 for a textbook, tobacco money you say you loaned him, and $5 in gas money. You have a counterclaim against your former friend of $270 for the amount you say he owes you for fixing a computer, for a battery charger, and some auto supplies. What is going on?
Your Honor, I've been friends with the defendant for over 40 years.
40 years?
Over 40 years, yeah.
Okay.
I met Matthew in 1971. Okay, times are tough right now. We're both falling on kind of hard times. I'm a home inspector, and he's having a rough time. So am I, actually. But performing a home inspection is three parts. There's a structural, there's a termite, and there's a radon inspection. Now, I took the radon course twice, and I'm not grasping it. I'm having a very hard time with it. I have another friend that I went to school with who took a home study course, purchased the material, and he told me, he said, Mark, why don't you try to read this, and when you take the course again, you might be able to get through it. Matthew, being very book smart and having a hard time, I said, Matt, you're a little book smart. Why don't you take the book and study it? You take the test, get certified, and when I have a radon inspection, I'll call you. You could do the radon inspection for me, and I'll pay you. So everybody would win. Well, I gave the book back to Matthew in February, March. He got evicted from his house in April. I've asked him several times for the book back, and it got very obnoxious.
Who'd you get the book from?
A friend of mine from school.
And did he loan it to you or give it to you?
He loaned it to me.
So according to you, you loan it to him and he
Correct.
won't return it.
What
problems were going on between the two of you that he wouldn't return it?
Well, what happened, we were still friends. And once again, since he was on hard times, I'm a smoker, unfortunately. My family smokes. Matthew smokes. I found a way to cut my expense from paying $8 something a pack down to $2 a pack. I take a ride out to Pennsylvania, I buy loose tobacco, like so. And I roll it into these tubes with a machine, and the cigarettes come out, almost like they're factory made. I said to him, why don't you take the ride with me and see what it's all about? So he took the ride with me. We were out there. We walked into the store. He saw all the tobacco on the walls and everything. And he came up to me when I was purchasing my stuff, and he said, Marco, lend me $50. I said, Matt, I'm really not in a position to be lending money. I'm really not. He said, oh, I promise you I'll have it to you back by Wednesday. This was on a Saturday. The exact dates I can't recollect. Well, 18 weeks later, I've called him several times over this, and he was very, very abrupt with me on the phone and hanging up on me.
Okay, but you guys have been friends for 40 years.
Right.
So why do you suppose he's treating you like this?
He's on hard times, and I guess the pressure's with him, you know.
There's nothing else?
No.
And what's the $5 for?
Well, it came to $47, And he said he'd give me $5 for the gas because it cost me like $15, $20 to go out to Pennsylvania for it.
Okay, what's going on, sir?
Your Honor, good afternoon. I was impressed by his opening, and I still like to remain his friend. So if we could resolve this, if he allows me the opportunity to do this, as soon as I have the opportunity to get back to my previous residence, get the book back, I will certainly give it back to him. With regard to the $50.
Wait, what's going on with the book?
These friends of 4 decades no longer have a friendship over a textbook. The defendant says he'd like to remain friends with the plaintiff. Good luck. Let's listen.
The book, I have a final restraining order. I'm not allowed to enter that place at will. I need to get the police to escort me there to look for it.
Because there's a restraining order against you?
Correct.
Who lives there? Can you tell me that?
I did. My mother and my sister.
Oy.
All
right.
There you go.
Okay. And you're not allowed to go there without a police officer. Why don't you just go there with a police officer?
I was there in the last 6 months for an hour and a half, 30 minutes at each time. And I wasn't able to find it. I have 2 police officers standing around me.
So you've looked for the book and you can't find it?
It's there. There's no question about it. It's there.
But you have looked for it and can't find it?
Well, if I had more time, I'd know somewhere in there it's there. He even went himself looking for it. This is Matt.
Did you go to the house and look for it?
I called his mother and I said, listen, I'm having a problem with your son. He has a piece of property of mine that's a home inspection course. My friend is moving. I need to get it back. May I come over and take a brief look?
And what'd she say?
She said, fine, no problem.
So did you look?
I came over to the house. I went down to his room. I didn't go through his belongings, pulling his drawers open or anything like that. I just visually looked on tabletop.
Why wouldn't you? You're there. I don't understand.
I didn't want to invade his privacy. I called him while I was there. Now, he told me that when he went there, that his mother and his sister packed all his belongings in boxes and had him on his bed. Okay,
Were there boxes on his bed?
There was boxes on his bed, but there was nothing in them. They were totally empty. So I called him and I said, Matt, I'm at your mom's house. Do you know where the book is so I could just pick it up and be on my way? Once again, he was very abrupt with me and hung up on the phone with me, and he wouldn't cooperate with me. It was making things very difficult.
All right, so we have a missing book, and then talk to me about the tobacco.
I owe him $50 for that, Your Honor.
Okay, and would that be the 47 plus the 5?
Yes, that would be.
Okay, now you've got a counterclaim against him for $200, and don't you guys feel small?
Yes.
You've got, good, because you should.
Yes.
This is goofy. I can't believe the 2 of you are here. I got to be here anyway. I don't care.
Right.
But you 2 don't have to be here. This is so let's go on to your $270 lawsuit. Let's go over that. You want $120
right now. Unless remain friends, allow me to get to my house to get his book.
Printers don't cost $120, but you want $120 for fixing.
A wireless printer he couldn't find on his computer 2 times. It wasn't a wired printer. It was wireless. She had 3 people.
So what? They're all wireless now. You talk about it like it's space age.
Well, in his case, it is.
So what did you do to fix his computer?
What 3 people couldn't. Just
what did you do?
Put the disk in and rebooted it.
All you did was uninstall and install the application. You want $120?
I don't want anything from him. I want to get the book back and remain friends. That's it.
Okay, but you filed a counterclaim. You want to ditch your counterclaim, or you want me to go through it?
Let's ask Mr. Albanese what he wants to do.
I'm asking you.
I want to give him his book back.
Did you ever say to him when you fixed his computer, by the way, I charge $120 for uninstalling?
Twice I was there, $60. I said $60 each time I do it.
Oh, you did tell him that you were going to charge him $60?
I said I get $60 for do it, yes.
Okay, my question to you.
He's a friend. I didn't ask him for the money outright.
So you were never going to charge him? You just
like he's asking me for $50.
Yeah, but you agree that one was a loan, and yet you also agree that fixing his computer was not a charged service.
This is all over a book. This is where it starts from.
So you're angry about the book, so now you've decided that something nice you did for him, and are we going to go through the whole 40 years of nice, or just the recent stuff?
40 years of nice you're not going to be able to do.
Okay, so $120 for a battery charger. Is that the stuff I see here?
Yes.
Lovely. And auto supplies. Is that the stuff I see here?
Yes.
Well, that takes care of that nicely. Now, on that fixing of the computer, did he ever tell you that he's going to charge you $120?
No, he didn't, Your Honor. And if he said he was going to charge me
you'd buy a new printer.
After all the favors I did for him, I wouldn't have had him do it. I would have found another one of my friends that were perfectly capable.
Okay, so really what this all comes down to is $52 in a book, right?
Perfect.
Well, the book is $400, and it's
no, stop. The book and the course are $350. Show me the proof of the book, a used book, being $400.
Wow.
No, Your Honor, it's the cost.
The $395 is for a 16-hour continuing education hours. And I know it's home study, but it's an online thing where you take courses there too. So how am I going to separate what the value of the book alone cannot be the same amount as the book and the course?
But it is.
But it isn't, because this is a used book and it's just the book. And if you look at the book, you're still not taking the course online because you can't, because your buddy loaned it to you, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so the book has to be worth less than the book and the course. So if your buddy paid $395 and used it all, and then just loaned you a book that he had, how can you possibly think that book is worth $400?
Well, if I don't give him the book back,
then what?
I'm going to be liable for that amount of money.
Why would you be liable for that amount of money? That's preposterous. If he sued you in a court of law, you would get a judge saying exactly what I just said, that $395 covers the 16-hour course online as well as the book,
Correct.
right? So no judge would ever tell him that you're liable for $395. Plus, what you received was not a new book; it was a used book that he had used.
That he had used.
So
That's correct, yes.
So first, I have to figure out. Do a little rough justice and figure out the value of the book alone separated from the course. And then I got to depreciate it because it's a used book. Those are the two things I got to do. So when I do that, what figure do I end up with?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Could you remain friends with somebody who sued you if they really believe they had a legitimate case against you?
Definitely not.
Why not?
If we were supposed to be friends, you wouldn't sue me.
But what if they can't resolve this dispute and it's like, okay, let's just have a judge do it?
Well, I think that since they're suing them, obviously there was a problem before, so I don't think necessarily the suing would be...
Well, not necessarily. I mean, it could be just two people having a dispute over, do you owe me money or not, and otherwise they got along well. Could you remain friends?
I think after that point, the dispute has gotten too big where the friendship might not be...
So you'd blow them off?
I think so, a little bit.
Sayonara, sucker.
Yeah.
Got your point, going inside the courtroom.
If I'm not able to return the book, I'm going to have to purchase the book and give it back to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the guy already took the course, right?
Yeah, but it's still his book.
Yeah.
And it goes with his library, on what we do.
Yeah. No. All right. As for the plaintiff's lawsuit against the defendant, I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of, I'm going to give a value to the book of $100 plus the 47 plus 5 for $152 on the defendant's counterclaim against the plaintiff, 0. So let me see if I have this straight, gentlemen. A 40-year friendship.
Correct.
You're absolutely
has
right.
gone down the tubes over $152.
It's a little bit deeper than that, Your Honor.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
We have fallen on hard times.
Yes, we have.
Verdict for the plaintiff.
All right, guys, just stay right here where you are.
Well, this is the defendant coming out of the courtroom with some stuff the plaintiff brought with him and has now returned to you. How does this feel coming out after, 40 years and...
$152 is like the Bronx deals. $152 to get rid of them.
But wait. That's not what you said in the courtroom. You said you wanted to remain your friend. He tried, he said. He said he tried. Well, your friend?
Was.
You were going to let $152?
It's gone deeper than that, believe me.
He even sort of reached out to you in the courtroom with some of the things he said. You heard him.
I'd rather not go there.
All right, so as far as you're concerned, this friendship
is basically over.
Is as good as over?
I would have to say
That's
so.
the way you want it. Okay, Harvey?
Well, I got to tell you, the best way to resolve a dispute with friends like this, you find a third party that you both really trust and have them listen. You could even, honestly, you could go to a judge. You could say, look, no hard feelings. Let's go to small claims court. Let's work it out, and we'll abide by what they say. There is a way to preserve a relationship after a lawsuit. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.